So we've been doing quite a bit of research on people who are frequent consumers of low-calorie sweetened beverages. And one of the things we've done is to devise a questionnaire to measure people's beliefs and attitudes with regard to low-calorie sweetened beverages. And we find very clear differences between people who are frequent consumers and non-consumers. So specifically, frequent consumers say they like low-calorie sweetened beverages, they find them pleasurable and enjoyable, but they also believe that these products are effective in controlling appetite and weight. So this is really important when we think about psychological theories of dieting, because we know that dieting is very difficult, and often when you're on a diet, you're having to forego the pleasure and consume foods which might be healthy but perhaps don't taste so nice. So we think one of the reasons that people might be choosing low-calorie sweetened beverages is because they kind of help people to still enjoy pleasurable, sweet-tasting foods while also being able to maintain their dieting goals. So kind of like a guilt-free pleasure, I guess you might say. So our research doesn't show that at all. So we've done research specifically with people who are frequent consumers of low-calorie sweetened beverages. So these are people who are consuming over 825 ml per day, so just shy of 3 kind of cans of Diet Coke a day. So people who are consuming a fair amount each day. But what we're actually finding is that this is a helpful strategy in terms of calorie intake. So we've done experiments where we have deprived frequent consumers of their usual low-calorie sweetened beverages. And then what we actually find there is people consume more calories compared to a condition where they are not deprived. And specifically what seems to be happening is people are switching from the diet version, the low-calorie sweetened version of their chosen beverage to the calorie-containing sweetened version. So it actually looks like they have an important role in terms of reducing energy intake, and we think this could be linked to their delivering pleasure. You've got the palatable sweet taste, and that might satisfy people's desire for sweetness. We're also showing interesting effects as well in that when people consume low-calorie sweetness, they're feeling less guilty and also more in control of their food intake, again, compared to when they don't have access to low-calorie sweeteners. So I think that's really interesting and suggests that they might actually be fulfilling a psychological function, which is interesting. So I think there's a lot of skepticism about low-calorie sweeteners among consumers, and there is a real belief that they might not be helpful, and there's a belief that they make people put on weight, promote a preference for sweet-tasting foods, cause cancer even. So there is a lot of misinformation out there that isn't backed up by the scientific evidence. So I think one really important thing is to communicate research findings so that consumers are aware. And I think if you're somebody who enjoys sweet tasting drinks in particular, and if you're somebody who consumes sugar containing beverages, then it seems like a switch to low calorie sweetened beverages could be a feasible strategy in terms of reducing calories, because we know from a lot of studies that people don't fully compensate for the reduction in calories. So they are a way of reducing calorie intake. So this can be helpful for some individuals. They're not a magic bullet. They're not going to solve the obesity crisis, but they could be one strategy that might work for some consumers. And I think that is important to disseminate that as clearly as possible.